how I organize, and it's something that I learned from working in an office as a head designer for like an architectural company and a public sculptor that he did all these. You can check his work cliffgarten.com. So we used to make all these elaborate sculptures and all that with 3D fabrication with Rhino and Mudbox. So at that office we had a folder named CAD folder, and that's the best organization I've had so far from working with people. So CAD has all the programs. So Maya is here, Modbox, Preform, Rhino, Substance. Now I have a textures folder and a transfer folder, and then ZBrush. So there's all the software with all the projects for each one, and then there's a transfer folder, which is very important because a lot of times you work in Rhino or in Maya or in ZBrush and you want to transfer from this to that. So I have two Maya, two Modbox, two Preform, two ZBrush, two Rhino, and all that. So, what? Okay. So we can look at the screen, right? That's fine. So that's why I have the um, all these folders. So so then everything is there and everything should be dated. Not all, but most of it should be dated. So under Maya, I have all these like files. So I'm gonna open Maya right now and show you how you would get something like let me go and find. So let's say I have a folder that has. Let me go and open this first. I have this folder here that is called props, and I was working for a while, and I didn't know what I was. I was just testing stuff, and then I realized that I didn't have anything organized. So I'm gonna open one of these files. So I'm gonna open the let's see, um, the oil barrel here. Let's see here. So this is the oil barrel that I did for, I showed you guys earlier, like this quarter for the UVs, for the UV layout. And I have this barrel here, UV textured. And basically what I did, I sent it to Modbox and I did all the painting, and I exported the textures here. So I have the textures for the oil barrel here from Modbox. And I'll show you how we do the round trip. But for now, this is disorganized, and I need to have it in a folder. So what do? I go to this project, and then I'm going to organize it right now and put all the textures where they should be. So I'm going to go and say project window, and I'm going to create oil barrel. And I need first you create a new project. So that's the project directory, not the project itself. It's not the scene in here. It's the project directory. Then you go and find exactly where you want to. Since this is a Maya file, I'm going to CAD Maya, and this is where I need to drop that project folder. So the project folder already has a name. I called it oil barrel. Select, and I leave everything as it is by default, accept, and now I'm going to save the scene as it should take me to the scenes folder, but if it doesn't, you have to go and find the oil barrel folder, go to the scenes, and that's the next thing I learned by working there, which is really good, how to date first 2 digits of the year, month, and today is the 17th, or underscore oil 01 Maya ASCII, save, continue. So now what I need to do is texture this, like since the textures exist. So I'm going to do this. I'm going to go ahead. This is my new project. Source images are here. Source images, there's nothing there. So I need to go to that other folder. and find those these don't belong here anymore. So this JPEG, which is the final one, these are from Modbox. These are other things that I don't need, and that's the only texture I need. So I'm gonna bring it and drop it in the source images folder, and I'm gonna go to Maya and create a new assign new material. Let's say Maya material X, and I'm gonna replace the color with that file. It should go directly to the source images, and it did. That's why we're making this project window. So now we have everything in there. Now if you lose that, if you have other images, if you start populating other textures, let's say I want this texture here, and I want this texture to go on the top of the barrel, the lid. So if you look at textures in different folders, if you want to use this, just copy it and make sure you bring it in that source images. Anything you're going to be using as a texture file, a JPEG or PNG or PSD, and when I say texture file, I mean like an image, you want to bring it in that folder. If something is missing from that folder, you're basically gonna move to another computer, and it's gonna be missing, and you're not gonna have it. So now I'm gonna use this one, and I'm just gonna go ahead, since this is also textured, I'm just gonna select assign new material, mental ray, MIA material X, and bring a file, and here we go. Takes me back to that, and I can also just do some projection here. So I can go and do a UV planar projection. I want to planar map that, and I want to planar map that by on the Y. So it should be there. Apply, and here's this is some. Okay, so now I don't know why this is. I'm having some issues with the display here sometimes. So this is. Okay. If you want to bring that planar projector back, you can go here, and then seems that Autodesk makes Maya it makes it worse every time. They just make it worse.
My personal computer does the same thing.
Yeah, it's amazing. They're just messing it up all the time. So now I have these two images, and I'll save the file, save scene, and now everything is here. So I have my project. So anytime I move, I take this folder with me. Now let's say we want to bring something from Modbox. That's the problem. How do we bring something from Modbox? So I'm going to go to Modbox project, and I'll open this small, some prototype that I've been working on, and it's not done, but at least it has some textures. So I have this thing that I want to send back to Maya, this whole object. So sometimes the geometry might not go, but we're gonna try it. So I'm gonna go ahead, and first of all, let me go, and this object here has some layers. So I have a bunch of layers. You can see here I've been working with different layers. So I think I baked everything to this one. Yeah, I think I just baked all the previous layers to that. So I could just export that layer from here. I could just say, since this is one baked layer, I can say export selected as a JPEG. So I can do a TIFF or a JPEG. I'm gonna do like a JPEG for now, and I'll go to Documents, CAD. Since this is going to be a model that I'm going to add in Maya, so I'm going to go to Maya, and it's going to be in this section because that's where I'm going to bring everything in. So I'm going to go to the source images, and save this as I have to like building color. I have to like at least say what this is and save it. So I have this texture for this piece done. Now I have to or you can say select. You can select everything, objects. You can select this piece, and this piece, and this piece, and this. These are not textured, so anyways. And then you can say send to Maya as new scene or update current scene. And it says, okay, I'm going to send everything, but where do you want me to put the textures? Because it's going to send the geometry to Maya, but where do you want the textures to go? So you have to go here and say, I don't want it there. I want all the textures to bake and be, and be saved in this, not there, in here, in the source images, since that's the project I'm working on. Okay, exporting mesh, and close. Okay, now this exported the entire thing. Now this whole thing here appears, we can actually always, group it. Command G. It doesn't work for some reason. Let's see why. Let me go back to Mudbox. Okay, so now hopefully it will work. Command G, W, and I can just bring this. I mean, this is just a test to see. Now the thing is, where are these textures? You have to double check where the textures are so you are safe. So select it and go to the attribute editor and look at where this. First of all, this is something that Maya did. It created a Phong material. Maybe you don't want a Phong material, so you might want to do something else. So it created a whole network for us. If I go to the texture, it says it went to transfer to Maya, so I don't want it there. So let's see. Okay, so I'm going to go to Maya, I'm going to go to oil barrel, source images. So actually it did bring it here. So I have, no, actually it didn't. This is only one channel. Okay, so actually it went somewhere else. It went to another folder. So you have to see what folder it is. It says transfer. So it's transferred to Maya. It remembers from a previous thing that I did, that's why. And it went all the way to that folder. So I'm going to go and repair that right away, because I want to organize all my textures in the local folder, oil barrel, because that's the project that is going to be the final project. So I'm going to go to transfer to Maya, and I see that it brought everything there, but I don't want it there, so I'm just going to select it, take it all to this folder and source images and drop it all here. Now this one here I don't need. I don't know what that, sometimes there's mistakes, and this one I don't need either, because I just did that so I can show you how it would transfer only the color. So there's so all of them are here, and I'm just gonna update. I don't need that Phong. I want to make my own texture, so I'm just gonna create a new material. And I'm going to make a metal ray and my material X, and I'm just going to bring the color. Of course it's going to go to the source images and I'll bring this in. So here. Now there's a Phong that is left aside, so I'm going to open the material editor, the Hypershade, and delete the Phong, and all the materials that I'm not using, I'm going to get rid of them. And that's another thing you want to do for organization. Okay.
Wouldn't that also eat up render time if you don't clean it up like that?
Sorry, what?
Wouldn't that also eat up render time if you don't clean up the?
It just makes your scene a little lighter. It's not if you clean up everything. Hypershade. Okay. So let me see where it's a different hypershade. It's like I'm not used to this yet. There's supposed to be, this is a work area. I don't want that. Okay, so okay, so I'm gonna go and just say delete unused nodes, and I'm gonna come back to that to fix it. So basically now I should be fine if I go and select existing material. So the Phong is gone, so you can see here it's like, so this is how you can bring stuff back. And this, for the preset of that, I just need matte finish. So now my project is all organized. It's this project, and it has the scene here, the Maya file, and it has the source images from Modbox in here, everything organized, and also from other texture files that I would need to use. So that's what you guys are gonna give me next week. It's gonna be, instead of oil barrel, it's gonna be your name, full name, and under the scenes, there's gonna be everything. The first project that we did, the second one, the midterm, all of them are gonna be as finals. Only one per, uh, final project. And then all in the source images, do not make any subdirectories. Just throw all the texture files that you have been using for the entire quarter that are in the scenes. So basically what you would do is have the scenes here all dated and as finals, so oil barrel final. And then the Modbox files, you can drop them in the data folder. So that's like the data folder can have Modbox files with their associated textures and props, a library of props. So you can do like Modbox and props. So let's say I was working on a Modbox file for this quarter, and it would be here. I mean, of course I have it different, so for the sake of the final, I just want one directory. But for you guys, if you want to organize stuff, you could do it like that, so you have in your home computer. So let's say I have this Modbox file. I would copy that, and I would bring it in to present it, together with the scene. So I would go to Maya, oil barrel. I would just put it in here. So then and then for props, maybe I have a bunch of stuff like, that I was using, and you can put it in here. Now for images, all the renders should be in here. So when you render something, let's say I render this. This is Mental Ray, so we need to switch to Mental Ray because Mental Ray materials are not going to appear on Maya software, so I'm just going to render that. So I have this, let's say this is my render, my final render. Save image as JPEG, and go to exactly that folder, oil barrel images, and you can say like oil barrel 01. So that's a JPEG file. So now everything is in that folder, so nothing is going to be lost. And now if you move to another computer and you want to open the scene, let's say here's the images. So that's your renders. Here are your scenes, and here's the data with other projects that you want to include if you want, and here's the source images with all your texture files. So let's say you move to another computer and the images are not showing. I'm just gonna do something like I could maybe if I rename that, maybe that might change the. So if I go and open this, it actually, now it's local, it remembers. But let's say you go to another computer and everything is blank. There's no There's no. Let's say I just pressed 6 and nothing. You don't see the images, and you say, but I do have the images, and then they're in the source folder. The thing is, if I get from this computer has a specific IP address. I take it to that computer, and I open the scene, and Maya gets confused, and nothing is there. So what you need to do at that point, and that's going to take only 1 second, is to go and say set project, and you find the directory. You find the directory that is like the oil barrel directory, and you go to source images and set the project to that. And you say set, create default workspace, and reopen the file. And you don't save the previous file, you just reopen it. You don't save it, and then everything is going to be back to normal. So that takes only 1 second, and everything is going to be back. Now, if you don't have anything in the source images, and it's all scattered, good luck, it's going to take forever. If you have like subdirectories in the source images, good luck, it's going to take forever. So the only way that I struggled with Maya for years to figure out like what's the best way to organize is, because all these things get really messed up, is to actually have the source images and drop all the files in there, everything as a drop list. No worries about subdirectories, it doesn't really matter. I just drop all the pictures that you're going to be using in there and take them with you in this directory, and that's it. That would be the perfect organization.
Can you show the redirect file just one more time? Just the very
Yeah, let me stop the video for a second.